Hey everyone, it's Steph, and today I'm going to be talking about convention etiquette, also known as how to behave when you're at a convention. As context, a lot of what I'm going to be sharing is what I know from attending mostly anime conventions. I've only attended a handful of comic conventions, but as far as I know, the advice that I'm about to give should be able to apply in both scenarios. What I'm mainly going to be focusing on in this video is in regards to interacting with cosplayers at these events. I feel like it should be sort of common knowledge, but when you're at a public event like this, human decency is sort of a baseline, but I feel like when it comes to cosplayers, people might be unsure of what exactly is and isn't okay. The first thing that I'm going to talk about is this concept that I personally noticed gained more attention in the cosplay community in the past couple of years, and the idea is called cosplay is not consent. Cosplay is not consent is the idea that even though someone is in cosplay, that doesn't mean that they're giving you their consent to take their photo. When you go to these sort of events, if you see someone in a costume of a character that you really enjoy, it's really important that you take the time to ask them if it's okay to take a photo. There are numerous reasons for this. One, it's just polite to ask someone if you want to take their photo. Just because they're in a costume doesn't mean that they automatically want to have their photo taken. Most of the time, a lot of cosplayers would really love if you came up to them and asked them for a photo. It can be something that brightens up their day, but you just have to make sure that you ask first. Second of all, asking a cosplayer if you can take their photo means that they're going to pose for you, which means that you're just going to get a better picture of them and their costume overall. Third, that cosplayer might be tired, they might be on a rush to go somewhere. It's just better to be more considerate and ask the cosplayer for a photo instead of snapping one randomly. This ties into an idea that I really want to stress that I feel like some people forget at anime conventions, especially if it's their first time attending a convention. Even though someone's dressed up, I feel like sometimes some people forget that they're humans first and cosplayers second. That there is an actual person wearing the costume that's embodying the character, but they aren't actually the character themselves. I've read a couple of accounts of people that would cosplay characters like Joffrey from Game of Thrones, who's notorious for being a hated character, and sometimes people want to cosplay as Joffrey, but just because someone's cosplaying a character that you hate doesn't mean that you have the right to go up to them and tell them how they're a terrible person. They're still a person even though they're cosplaying a terrible character, and that has to be something that you have to be able to separate when you're interacting with them. On the flip side though, if there's a character that you love, just remember that they're embodying the character that you love and that they're a separate person outside of that. So I know there's a lot of characters, especially in the anime community, that people love so much, and when you see a cosplayer of them, especially if it's your first time, it can be extremely exciting, but you need to remember that they are still a person just dressing up as a character, and there can be a lot of uncomfortable situations where people sometimes forget that, and when they see someone cosplaying as that character, they interpret the situation as though the cosplayer is actually the character themselves and treat them as such. In both these situations, it can get a little awkward because first and foremost, that person that's embodying that character knows, even though you might have forgotten, that they are still their own person. So it's just important for both parties to be aware of this fact and respect that. Other than highlighting those things, convention etiquette is more or less the same as anywhere else. Be kind to people, be understanding. Conventions can be crowded. Just make sure that you say excuse me when you're trying to go past. Everyone's there to have a good time. No one wants anyone else to have a bad time, hopefully. But conventions are spaces where people go to have fun. The experience will be a lot more enjoyable if everyone can treat everyone else with a level of respect. Just remember to be courteous and treat everyone else the way that you would want to be treated. And this also applies to the surrounding area of the convention center. Another note that I feel like a lot of people don't talk about is the treatment of service staff during conventions. So remember that conventions don't always apply to just the people at the actual convention, but the service staff in the surrounding areas, meaning the people at the restaurants that you're going to that are around the area or your hotel staff. These are the people that have to take care of the area when you're not there. It's their job, and they can't just walk away the way that you and I can. So try to be a little more understanding if wait times are a little bit longer, or if you're not getting things at the pace that you want them to be. Food staff especially, I've had many conversations with some disgruntled servers or wait staff that are just trying to do their job, but no one else is trying to be as understanding of their situation, and they're doing the best that they can, which can be super frustrating. So just make sure that you take a second and remember that everyone's just trying their best in these situations, and just have a little bit more patience. But there you have it. That's pretty much my advice on convention etiquette. Just making sure that you're being polite and asking cosplayers for photos if you want to take their photo, and remembering that they are human first and a cosplayer second, and treating them as such. Also, a bonus third topic, making sure that you treat the service staff in the surrounding area with a degree of respect and kindness as well. They might not be attending the con, but they're still in the proximity of it. As usual, I hope this video was useful for you guys, and if you think so, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. I believe next time we're going to talk about how exactly to select the first cosplay that you want to do. And if you guys have any other topics that you want me to talk about, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.